having a small setup, going small and then slowly scaling up is a good idea for young entrepreneurs who want to get into the F&B.
The other fact about the food is kind of a glamour industry. You see so many of the celebrities,
Yes,
sports stars, starting a restaurant or a food joint. Those are generally are the role model for many. So the people also look at them and they just then again want to start something. You have to understand that maybe they are at some different place in life and you are at some different place in life. So you have to have your reality check. You go to a food restaurant and you will find a very large menu. Order something, you just find that food to be very average, or you just are not able to connect to it. So I always say that it is not about how long and big is your menu. That is not important. It is that even if you do one single good thing in food, if you're able to carry just a good tea, good coffee, pizza, burger, anything, that's more than enough.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to Growth Pod with Vishnu Komalla. This is a very special episode because I've done this podcast in English and Hindi, though I haven't spoken anything in Hindi. This podcast is not exclusively, but for the people who are interested or who have already had their food business or they're struggling with their sales and profitability. Because I have with me here Mr. Nakul Chandna. Nakul Chandna, a distinguished professional over 25 years of experience in the food, F&B, retail and display industries. His impressive career includes an eventful tenure as COO at Ohri. You must know Ohri, a renowned name in the F&B industry, and also with some of the leading food, F&B and retail brands, including the iconic Nirulas. During his illustrious career, Nakul has achieved numerous milestones, including the successful launch of new F&B verticals, new projects, food products, retail and display products. He has guided leading brands in strengthening operations across various departments, including operations, sales and marketing, purchase and supply chain management, HR, people training, production, branding and merchandising, and distribution. That's a lot. Furthermore, he has shared his expertise as a guest speaker at prestigious institutions and corporates. Currently, Nakul Chandna runs his own consultancy to advise and guide startups in the F&B, food and retail space. This must be a lot of intro, but I had amazing time talking to him. Without any delay, let's go.
I recently had a very good time talking to Nakul sir. So he goes by Nakul Chandna. So he's a very good experienced executive in the food and retail industry. So I met him casually on Instagram and we had a good chat in Biknarwala over Chole Bhature. It felt so good talking to a person from the F&B industry because that's where most of the people would like to invest or also go and have a good time. But thank you, sir. Thank you for making your precious time to come to my podcast.
Thank you, Vishnu, for giving me this opportunity again to chat with you, and I'm so happy today to be here. Thank you.
I just wanted to let you know. So previously, all my podcasts were in Telugu.
Okay.
So it was a little challenging for me to let's do a podcast in Hindi and English because my Hindi is very bad, and I don't want my listeners to comment on my Hindi. So you can definitely have a conversation in Hindi, whereas I'm comfortable in English. So, sir, how has it been so far? How are you placed?
I've been, I would say it's all been great. Of course, thank to Sai God. I had a good career. I'm in a great journey. I've been in food, retail, F&B, experienced a lot. And the best part is that I think today, we are witnessing a new phase of India altogether. You see there is drastic change which has come, and there are a lot of new startups happening in every industry. Of course, it's also happening in F&B, happening in food also, retail also. So it's been a great time, I think, and that's what I could say. And also the part what you were just mentioning about the fact that about your Hindi. I would say that I've been in Hyderabad for a long time, but I would like to thank the people of Hyderabad, of course, because every second person out here is able to, basically, communicate in Hindi or English. So I think that's one of the reasons that I've been not being able to so far being able to pick up speaking Telugu. Yeah,
Okay. Exactly. Sir. True, true. Because
so it's the other side of the story.
my experience of talking in Hindi is only limited to auto drivers, cab drivers,
Yeah.
Swiggy buyas. That's it. I'd prefer talking in Telugu because my Hindi talking span is limited to only 10-15 seconds.
Yeah.
After that, people will understand, okay, this guy doesn't know Hindi.
Yeah.
So I'd prefer talking in English. But sir, first of all, your story is pretty inspiring because there are a lot of executives in the F&B industry who are making it big. But when I went through your bio, you also run a program where you go to the colleges, talk to the students about the importance of F&B startups, and also the what are the key roles and responsibilities a person can have in those F&B industry. So it really makes a lot of difference for the student because I think even my company Ladder Guru, it also provides information where information is not provided. So I think you do the same for the F&B industry, and that's a very good noble thought is what I feel. And could you please share what is your experience like? Because I think you've been given talks and walks in Loyola, and if I'm not wrong, VJIM. And if I missed out on any, you can please let me know. But what is your experience like talking with the young minds of India?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to say that as I was mentioning that, of course, this is a new phase of India, and today youngsters are very much ready for startup because they are, I think, having more resources and knowledge available today for the startups. Now, what it's been, there for quite a while. Of course, when I was there with working with Ohri's, and I was, being invited in a couple of the colleges earlier, and then after that also, I have carried it the same way because for me it's important that today youngsters, when they go for a startup, I mean, there is, of course, it should not be a route to bypass the fact that they don't want to, join some company, or they don't want to appear into, interviews basically for selections. Because it's kind of a fancy tag today, to have a startup, and the reality is very different. The startup entrepreneur, needs to do much more work in all direction than compared to joining a company and getting some good experience, on hand experience. That should not be there. And I think in India, the starting small businesses have been a practice for a good time, long time, and it's being there for generation. There are certain places, and you must have seen a guy who's running a food joint, his next generation comes and take over. A kirana shop guy, who's running a kirana business, his next generation takes over. Similarly, the small businesses being a practice. So the idea was just to give them the basically the some sort of an insight that before they start, because most of the time you start a startup today when they they either take the some sort of a hand loan from their parents or friends or family basically, and they had some capital, and from there they start actually. But so food, first of all, I would like to say it looks very simple, yeah. The biggest challenge in food is that it look very simple, and you go to a restaurant, you see crowd out there, you go hang around with your friends, and you feel, yeah, this is something which we can very easily do, yeah. And we are just chilling around in a cafe, and why not I start this? So that's the thought which every youngster gets today.
True.
Right. So, and I was being this question being again and again asked also, that of course that why so many food joints are there everywhere, why so many F&B startup happens. So I would first of all like to say that just I just share this also on a lighter note, that just imagine the life basically, that we are all living with a special energy, and there is no food out there, there is no beverage out there, There are no biryanis, no ice cream sundaes, there are no pastry cakes, and no, of course, good beverages out there. You just imagine that we are, living with a special energy, but there's no food, there's no beverage. How dull the life is going to be.
Very, very dull.
So there's not going to be any celebration.
True.
No ceremony out there. So food is very close to the in life. We think of food, throughout the day, food and beverage. So that automatically become one of the first choice to start something. I think in every family, maybe if there is someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, sometime in his life, he must have thought of doing something in food. That's for sure.
Yes, definitely. Because when you told about the necessity or the interest a student has, I myself have a very personal story to tell. So I've done my bachelor's from Mahindra University. So one of my friend there, so he just called me out of nowhere saying that, bro, you know this place called DLF, right? So there's a lot of food joints getting popular in DLF. Why not we take a small small kiosk, and then let's do a cuisine oriented thing. Let's take one particular cuisine, not even cuisine, but a dish, one particular SKU, if to be more precise. So, and then let's just do it. And I told him that that's not how it works, because there's a lot of back end stuff which goes through. Like for every dish that you make, a lot of ingredients happen, and there's a shelf life associated with it, and there's a lot more things to do. And you being there in the industry, and I feel a role of an operating officer plays a very key role in the F&B industry. And you've been there in this industry for the last, I think, 25 years, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I've been in, of course, my career span of 25 year plus have been, in food, retail and F&B, and was fortunate to, lead one of the F&B major group in Hyderabad. Of course, I have experienced so many different formats, from barbecues to, Chinese, Pan-Asian, authentic Indian, South Indian, and, cake stores, cafes, ice cream parlors, everything. So yes, you're right that when you are making food for yourself is also different, and when you make it to being served to others, I mean, of course you are running it, I mean, you want to start a food business, it's altogether a very different story, because the expectation out there of a client is it's that he's going to look for a value for money.
True.
Right, and you have to have that special experience created for him, that ultimately that he should be hooked to your place. So that's not easy. I mean, you have to have special USP for food, for your business to be successful today, because every 50 or 100 meter you will have today a food joint out there.
True.
Right, so if you are really keen to do something in F&B, and it's just not for the student, I would say for everyone, because there are a lot of new entries happening, lot of investment is coming in F&B, and there are all sort of formats which are expanding today, from fine dining, casual dining, QSR, kiosks, and so I think it's very important to do your homework properly. So, and competitor analysis, and understanding the market. And so there are so many mistakes which people do when they are starting something, and they're just completely unaware. So one of the biggest thing, one of the biggest mistake which the people, especially the new restaurateurs makes, is that they don't understand that the capital will be also required after you start the restaurant.
True.
I mean, I think invest most of their capital in starting the restaurant, and they just feel that the moment they open the gate and there will be queue out there, people standing and waiting for them to come in. So that's not going to be the reality. So even once you start to get popular out there today, there is going to be a period involved, and the operational cost is going to be very high, because this is again a service industry, which is skilled people in the driven industry. So you have a challenge out there. So the cost of operation is going to be very high. so that's one of the mistake they do, and that's the reason that so many new and maybe restaurants gets closed down in the very first year. I mean, around so that's a very high rate out there of the restaurant which gets closed. So that's one of the primary reason that you have not really focused or understood the metrics of the industry, how it works. So understanding the metrics of the industry is very important. So and the other part here is that, see, food, because you have so many different models, from a roadside tiffin center or a chai point, to the casual dining, to the QSRs, to cafes, restaurants, barbecues, fine dining restaurant, buffets, and breweries. So there are so many different models available. It's also gives a lot of confusion to you. And the other thing, what generally the mistake what people do, that, see, if there is a success in a particular model out there today in your city, let's say one of an ice cream parlor, gets very popular today out there for a special ice cream, then everyone would like to start the similar ice cream parlor. Let's say the stone ice cream got popular, right, in Hyderabad, so everyone would like to jump into that. So don't. And similarly, like recently, the mandi restaurants were opening. So mandi, you see everywhere, every second person is opening a mandi restaurant.
Yeah.
So just because the other people got the success, you really don't know what all work has gone behind that. So don't jump into any model. You have to have a guide out there. You have to have a person advising out there that based on your capital, what kind of a model is best suitable. I have met the founders, and they will say that, sir, we would like to do a special cuisine, a South Indian cuisine, which is a very special cuisine, or a North Indian cuisine, which is a very special cuisine. Not understanding that, first of all, that to carry that special cuisine, you also have to have a very special team out there.
True.
And that team is going to come to on a good cost. You'll have to hire very special experienced chef if you want to do really something very special. And when you have a limited capital, when you're starting initially, I think there are so many other things first you have to experience in the industry, and then you jump into whatever special you want to do. But you have to realize that there is going to be a big cost out there. So if you want to do something, of course you have to understand that what all is required. What kind of infrastructure is required? What kind of people are required to run the show, right? What is the capex involved? And so different models require different kind of capex, right? So, but the best part in this industry is, I think this is the only industry where it gives an opportunity for so many different people coming from different walks of life to be an entrepreneur.
True.
I mean, you can start in food with just a small capital of 50,000, and you can scale it up to a business of crores of rupees.
True.
And if you and then the models, different models are there. You can go to a casual dining. I mean, you can start a fine dining if you have deep pockets, and you can start so many different models out there depending on the kind of capex is available with you. So, so there are larger formats, like family fine dining restaurants out there, or large format of buffets out there, high class buffets out there, and there are casual dining formats basically where you can go for a casual dining. I mean, of course, and then there are QSR models like the pizzas, burgers, and ice cream parlors and bakeries out there where you just go and hang around. I mean, feeling little maybe hungry and just wanted to have some good time, you can be there. So that's the thing. So that's something which is available in food only, wherein so many different formats are available.
True.
And I think the dream of becoming an entrepreneur, I think if you really want to be, and you are again you have of course an interest in food industry, F&B industry, then of course this is a very very good industry wherein you have so many different opportunities available.
So, like from what you're saying right now, I basically understood that because most of the true examples out there, for example, let's take Haldiram's, it always started slow and small. Maybe I cannot say slow, but small. So it started small and slowly started scaling up. So do you think that's the mantra, success mantra of having a good, if you're low on capital, you've set an example where, because I think people who are getting into the food industry are always ambitious because they get into the food industry because they have that connection, as you mentioned, that, hey, I want to replicate this. I've eaten this somewhere. I want to do this and create a business and employment both ways. So it's always ambition that takes over a person and which makes him go create a bigger project than he has in capital. So do you think like having a small setup and going small and then slowly scaling up is a good idea for young entrepreneurs who want to get into the F&B industry?
I think yes, in a way yes. I mean, for any person, I mean, who wants to start, of course, he should first, understand the industry from inside. See, so the fact is that generally what's the other fact about the food is kind of a glamour industry. You see so many of the celebrities,
Yes,
sports
exactly.
stars, starting a restaurant or a food joint, and that those are generally are the role model for many. Right, so the people also they look at them and they just then again want to start something, right, similar.
Yep.
But for them you have to understand that maybe they are at some different place in life and you are at some different place in life.
Yeah.
So you have to have your reality check. So I always say that you go to sometime to a food restaurant and you will find a very large menu being presented to you. And when you order something, you just find that food to be very average, or you just are not able to connect to it. And and then again you go to a place which may be just serving some good tea or coffee,
Yeah.
or maybe dosa, or some burger, or a donut, and you are just so happy, I mean, out there to to experience that food. So I always say that it is not about how long and big is your menu. It is not important, that is not important. It is that even if you do one single good thing in food, if you're able to carry just a good tea, good coffee, or a good donut, or a good pizza, burger, anything, I think that's more than enough. You can have a short and sweet menu. You don't have to have a very large menu, because ultimately you also have to fix everything accordingly.
True.
And yes, of course, you should get inspired by your role models. I mean, looking at the celebrities and the sports stars who are starting, and maybe you want to be also an entrepreneur in the industry is good. But again, you also have to see that what are the resources available with you.
True.
Right. So that is very important. So for me, I think it should be a short and sweet menu initially to start with, not a very big menu. And of course, again, depends on the model. Let's say you are starting, like, let's say a restaurant which is a fine dining restaurant. You have to have a good menu out there, which suits all people which are coming in out there. Families who are walking in, because every person is going to have a different taste buds. Right. You have to cater to different age groups also. Right.
Yeah.
And so the theme is going to be very important out there. You're starting a buffet. You're starting a big buffet. Of course, like Masterpiece today, you have to have a great menu out there. I mean, a great offering out there, a big offering out there for a success. So which I think to define the kind of success which the restaurant like Masterpiece is getting today. So that's what is important.
And when you mention about theme, So you're also the ex-CEO of Ohri's. So I think I may be wrong, but at least in Hyderabad, Ohri's was the founding stones where they introduced theme-based restaurants. There was train-based dining, and there was forest-based dining. It all started maybe when I was in my second class or third class.
Yeah.
So that is that experience. Uh, like when you tell about food, that's the experience and nostalgia that I get connected to.
Yeah.
More about the food, but also about the ambience as well, because Ohri's has always given me that good experience associated with the food. Like I think there was one thing where after eating, along with somf, they also used to give some kind of a prediction kind of a thing where you open it and you can see how is your day going to be like. Those are few aspects in an F&B industry which will increase customers' experience. So I think that was few of those experiences that I had with good restaurants. And also, like we've been going to, like, it's always a family thing. Like when you like a restaurant and when you get a good experience in that restaurant, it stays for forever in your life. Like for us, it was Papaji Ka Dhaba in Abbots. So I think we've been going there for the last 17, 18 years. It's like we are a customer there. Like any special occasion, we just go there. And that's a dhaba. That's a proper dhaba, and we just associate there. And those are few examples where a limited menu. And when I spoke with the owner of Papaji Ka Dhaba, he actually said that there were a lot of opportunities for him to scale up, like creating new branches, because that was in Abbots. So many people approached him to put up branches in the prime places in the city, but he was adamant that he only wanted one branch. I think those are few unique things an owner should be having, like the persistence and the craze for creating food. And these are few experiences which really inspired me. And whenever I wanted to do a startup in the food industry, these were the things that which really inspired me to think that okay, persistence is very important in a F&B industry. And for you, if the viewers want to understand, if there's a viewer who is passionate about starting a startup in the food and food and beverages industry, if you want to talk it in 3 points, like I'm just giving you a task in 3 points, what are those 3 suggestions that you would like to give to him or her? What are those 3 points?
So first is basically, he should be clear about the model, right? What model he wants to carry, right? And that is, basically it's like any other business, you have to have your SWOT also done, strength, weakness, opportunity and threat. Understanding your own metrics is very important. Then model is very important, because model is, the theme which you want to carry, and that you have to be very clear. And once you are sorted with that, then of course you also have to have your planning for the execution, which is the planning for the capex planning, the place. So the 4 P's basically, the place, product, and people and price. This all should be, really worked upon.
I think promotion also.
Yeah,
is
promotion
another.
of course is also very, very important nowadays. And coming to this point, when I was, of course, you just mentioned about the Ohri's. I mean, it's being iconic group, being serving the city of Hyderabad for more than 4 decades. And I've been very fortunate to work very closely with Mr. Amar Ohri. And so, of course, he's very, very creative by heart. So the question, the thing which you were sharing, that so many different themes. I think that's one of the only chain which carries so many different themes. That you have special ice cream Sundays, you have chole bhatures, you have barbecues out there, you have of course the Chinese outlets out there, the Indian authentic Indian outlets out there. So a lot of different themes that company from time to time able to bring to the city of Hyderabad. And during my tenure, of course, we have grown up the chain called, the outlet called Cake Nation, because that was the time when we're trying to revamp, post COVID, and of course, there were we were looking for the short formats actually, and to scale it to different places, because so during that time when I was of course working and heading this group, I of course also realized that with the time, today there is a big, for sure there is a definitely a big maybe role which promotions play. You cannot just neglect the value of today the promotions out there, or marketing or branding out there, the digital media out there.
True.
So because see, I can tell you that with your experience also today, you can go to new places where you will find the food to be decently good. It's of course you like the food out there, but you will not find the crowd to be that good out there. And then you go to another place which is where the food is quite average, but it's being packed, and there is a good crowd waiting also. So there is a role, of course, of the social media out there. There is a role of marketing, branding out there. And because earlier time, you used to say that it's about word of mouth publicity.
True.
Right? But today it's the same, maybe what the role the digital marketing is doing actually.
True.
Right? It's a kind of a word of mouth publicity where of course you are also today you have their special tools where of course you can also picturize your food, picturize your ambience. You can present your ambience to the people who have not so far come to a restaurant.
Yeah.
You can present your food to the people who have not so far visited your restaurant. So that's something which is amazing today, and that's a very special power.
True.
Because being city becoming so big and large in radius, of course, if you are running a restaurant in, let's say today in Gachibowli, and you want to present your restaurant to the people who are living in the other side of the city, maybe let's say Sikandrabad or Sainikpuri and all those side, that's through digital marketing.
True.
And when it comes to expansion also, you're planning to go to different multiple cities also. So that's, I think, somewhere where it helps you a lot. And you can see the kind of views which is happening on the reels today.
Yeah. Too much.
Right? And there are food influencers, of course. There is, of course, nowadays a lot of people have made their career in it, and of course that's being some wonderful thing the industry is experiencing, because these people are of great help, rather I would say, to a new restaurant. The food influencers are the great help, because ultimately they are able to present your food, your ambience, your restaurant to the people, most likely in a way which is going to help you in a great way to finally get the success in the industry.
Yeah,
so
it's
I think
they're working as part of your company itself, but they're basically freelancing.
Yeah,
It's the ideation, content creation,
of course,
comes from them, and it is definitely going to benefit the company as well. And that's, as you mentioned, that's a pretty well solid industry which is right now. Food influencing, food vlogs.
No, so again, see, the fact is that food F&B business should also be taken as any other business. Of course, food needs to be good, food needs to be great, but then there are the performance of all other departments also, which is very important out there.
Can you name the departments?
Of course, like every department, service department, the operation people basically, who are serving the tables, the guests actually, they need, a certain set of trainings, before they are being, placed on the floor. And, there are like the kitchen, the production department, the chef team out there. Then, like any other industry, the supply chain plays a very important role. right? The purchases. And I'll tell you what, this is one of the most neglected sector in the F&B industry, is that people don't try to understand their supply chain and their HR cost. I just want to say that if you're not able to buy at a good cost, how can you sell at a good cost?
Exactly.
I ask this to every restaurant owner which I meet. I ask this, as a restaurant owner, what was the last time you got your purchase audit done? And it is so critical, so important, that what was the last time you got your purchase audit done?
And for the layman to understand, what does a purchase order mean?
So I think in audit what you cover is just not the purchase prices. It is also the basically the whether the ingredients what you are buying basically, right? In what recipes it is being used.
Okay.
Right, and how much quantity is being used. You can save a lot by defining the right quantities, the right product, picking up the right ingredients, and of course a lot can be saved in the procurement cost also, purchase cost also.
True. And a lot of we can actually cut down the wastage as well.
Of course, you can cut down on the wastage, because when you know that there is a food cost which is a very important, which plays a very important role, it's directly connected to the purchase audit.
True.
See, with the time, lot of new things are coming up in the market as ingredients also, right? There are a lot of new developments happening. Let's say maybe 10 years down the line, if the cakes were not made by premixes, it was the special recipes which the chefs used to make their premix.
True.
But today, so when initially the premixes started coming in the market, the chefs were not open to basically use it, because they felt that their jobs will be taken away.
True.
But today, if I ask any of my chef that I'm unable to provide you a premix, he's going to come and sit in front of my house. That how I'm going to make the cake. So this is something which is generally like similarly there are now ready-made gravies which are available. Not many seasonings are available which gives a special taste. So where and what to be used basically. So you have to go in basically deep in your recipes and understand and link the purchase with that.
True. I think that would actually save a lot more
From
the business perspective, also from the environmental perspective.
See, understand today that purchase cost directly contributes to your bottom line, to your profitability.
True.
After doing the entire cycle of operation, for an F&B industry today to save or to get a bottom line of 10-12% is challenging. Here, if you can really get your purchase audit done on regular basis, right? You can basically have the right checks out there in saving the cost basically. You can and are able to save that 10-12%. It directly contributes to your bottom line out there. And you can save lakhs of rupees for a restaurant which is running maybe a purchases of maybe 1 crore or 2 crore. If you are able to save, let's say 10, able to have the correction done by 10%, you are saving 10 to 20 lakh a month, and which is going to contribute month on month, not just one time.
Yeah, it's just going to add up.
Just going to add up.
True.
Similarly, it's about the HR department also. Most of the time what happens that you hire, let's say, a chef, and you leave the rest of the hiring on him. You hire an operation head and you leave the rest of the hiring on him.
Yeah.
Right? But what is the right size of team required out there? Therein you need an expert out there. What is required to basically carry that menu which you are running in your kitchen? How many people are required in your operation? So there is, of course, a performance audit in HR is required. And HR costs should be, always kept in check. Because if your HR cost is high, it's ultimately going to, again hit your profitability. So that's the reason, of course, today the biggest challenge for the restaurant industry is that, ultimately that today you have to also be very much having a good understanding of your cost is very much required. You just can't say that, okay, I have taken the senior people and resources, and I've just left it to them. It's not going to work like that. I mean, if you have started a business, I would say that of course you need advice or guidance. Either you should take a CEO or a consultant, or also get equipped with lot of know-how, basically, that how to run the operations out there, how to check my team out there.
True. So I actually have a doubt, sir. So generally, like in the entire ecosystem, if you want to be an entrepreneur, there's always a common advice that they always advise you to work in that particular industry, to understand the know-hows, and then if you find any pain points, or if you feel that you can do something more better than the existing ones, that's when you become an entrepreneur. That's the mantra of becoming an entrepreneur. And a new way is just to right out of college you can be an entrepreneur. So there are two ways. So I just wanted to understand, what are the career opportunities like in the F&B industry? Not like an entrepreneur, but for a person who wants to get into the F&B industry to understand, or to understand what actually happens. So what are the career opportunities like in the F&B industry?
So I think, see, opportunities, as I was mentioning, there are so many different departments out there. Like, you have operations, service department, you have kitchen department, you have HR department, you have purchases, you have a housekeeping department, which plays an important role out there. You have a maintenance department, which also, take care of the regular maintenance out there. And you can find today, so many people from जो बिहार से आ रहे हैं, जो उड़ीसा से आ रहे हैं, इतने बहुत सारे लोग बिहार और उड़ीसा के आज हैदराबाद में और बहुत सारी सिटीज़ में F&B में काम कर रहे हैं, और बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है आज. There is now so much of new F&B restaurants are opening.
True.
Right? Food joints are opening. Packed food companies are growing. तो बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं आज की डेट में. तो वो अपॉर्चुनिटी बहुत बड़ा है, और आई थिंक ये एक ऐसा सेक्टर है जो बहुत एम्प्लॉयमेंट देता है. आप एक सोचो कि आप अगर आज एक मैकडोनल्ड्स में या किसी एक रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हो, वहाँ पे आपको कम से कम 20 लोग काम करते हुए मिलेगा. तो अगर सपोज आज 1000 आउटलेट है अगर, तो आपका उधर कितना एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट हो रहा है. आज एक अच्छे रेस्टोरेंट में, एक बफे रेस्टोरेंट में, लार्ज बफे रेस्टोरेंट में 100+ पीपल काम करते हैं. तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटी तो बहुत ये इंडस्ट्री क्रिएट करती है ऑफ कोर्स. और साथ ही साथ जो एंटरप्रेन्योर अपॉर्चुनिटी है, दैट इज़ अगेन ऑल्सो इट गिव्स अ लॉट ऑफ स्कोप. अभी रिसेंटली अगर आप देखो, आप यू मस्ट हैव सीन इन हैदराबाद कितने सारे चाय पॉइंट है जिनको बहुत सक्सेस मिली है, टी पॉइंट्स हैं. कितने सारे बेकर्स हैं जिनको बहुत सक्सेस मिली है. छोटे कैफ़ेज़ हैं, टिफ़िन सेंटर्स हैं जो बहुत सक्सेस हुए हैं. ऑफ कोर्स फाइन डाइनिंग भी हुए हैं, बहुत सारे बफ़े भी ऑफ कोर्स न्यू ओपन हो रहे हैं. एंड तो वो डिपेंड करता है कि आपकी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ फॉर अ एंटरप्रेन्योर ऑल्सो इज़ देयर. But again, आपको once, as you said that you want to enter, you should work with some company before. Yes, that's also one of the good thing to do, right? But at times maybe you feel that you are ready. At times you feel that no, you are doing, I think you have done your homework. You have done all the things what is required. Still, I will feel that always, you should try to get, some sort of advice from an industry's expert. Because it's today not about starting, it is about the managing. Today, see, for any good restaurant, any good company, just like any good company, for any good restaurant also, a chain of restaurant, it is also required to make so many decisions on daily basis. There are so many crucial decisions which are being done, made on daily basis, which ultimately, also finally define the success or failure of the restaurant. So you should have, someone basically guiding you, advising you.
But then, like, my question was, like, as you said, if a person wants to get into the F&B industry, almost every single person only thinks about starting a restaurant. So, for example, I'm there. I finished by MTech from IIT Hyderabad. So I come with some experience in the management perspective. So, but I'm not interested in setting up a F&B company. Okay, what are the roles and opportunities in the F&B industry? Is what I was asking you. So, what all can I do there? For example, if I'm solid in marketing and branding, what are the opportunities like?
ऑफकोर्स देखिए अब जैसा आपने बोला कि यू आर बेसिकली यू कम फ्रॉम एन आईटी बैकग्राउंड and you have some hand-on experience of marketing and branding. So I think marketing and branding is required for sure for every new restaurant today, every new food joint today. जैसा मैंने आपको बोला कि इट्स लाइक दैट कि आपका फूड अच्छा होना इम्पॉर्टेंट है, लेकिन अगर आपको सक्सेस चाहिए तो आई थिंक द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ ऑल डिपार्टमेंट्स ऑल द वर्किंग डिपार्टमेंट्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है, तो उसमें मार्केटिंग भी अपना रोल प्ले करता है, आपका बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है. बिकॉज इनिशियली आपको रेस्टोरेंट का जो थीम है, जो स्टोरी लाइन है, वो डिफाइन करने के लिए यू शुड हैव द राइट मार्केटिंग एजेंसी विद यू और द पीपल विद यू, राइट. क्योंकि एवरी रेस्टोरेंट टुडे नीड्स टू हैव अ स्टोरी लाइन. आपको सक्सेस चाहिए तो आप अलग क्या करो दूसरों से. Why people should come to your restaurant? So there is to be something which is your USP, which is in your food or maybe in your ambience or in your service. Something is going to be there. तो वो जो story line है, then of course to convey this message to the people out there. Right? So there is an important role of marketing. Similarly, let's say today when it comes to maybe people who have coming from the finance background, ultimately of course like any other challenge industry, this industry also need a lot of finance planning. As I was mentioning earlier also, that when your capex is being finally all being used at initial stage by for starting a restaurant, and you run out of the capital next 2-3 months, and then you are forced to shut it down, and people there lose a lot of lakhs and crores of rupees out there.
True. Financial planning is
very important. And similarly the right now setting up the supply chain correctly, choosing the right vendors, right ingredients. True. The quality, the price is very, very important, because food is also about the quality. It's also about the finding the right ingredient at the right price, I would say.
True. Yeah.
And then of course it's a manpower driven industry. तो आपके लोग ही है जो आपको सक्सेस बनाएंगे. तो getting the right people on board, selecting the right people first of all on board, and then grooming them further is very important. और देखो आपको ये भी अंडरस्टैंड करना है कि मैं अभी HR की जब मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, इट्स अ वेरी इंटेंस इंडस्ट्री, राइट. आपका एक आदमी है जो एक सर्विस कर रहा है, सपोज ही इज सर्विंग लेट्स से 50 odd गेस्ट एवरी डे, राइट, और 100 odd गेस्ट एवरी डे. अभी क्या है, विद द एंटायर डे ऑफ हिज गुड वर्क, लेट्स से वन गेस्ट हु कम्स and maybe for some reason or other he is not unhappy or he generally tries to in some way or other he's not satisfied with your food and service, let's say. और अगर एक गेस्ट ऐसा आता है and he is ultimately say something to the person who's being serving 100 and he's not very kind or very polite in his word, he's little harsh while talking, it's upsetting for you'll get upset like any other human being.
True.
और उस टाइम पे क्या है it's very important to motivate that person again to come back to the work.
Yeah.
So training and motivation is very important and it is part of daily exercise.
True.
आप अगर 100 टेबल सर्व कर रहे हो और आपको एक गेस्ट सपोज आपसे नाराज हो जाता है या आपको ही यूजेस सम हार्श वर्ड विच इज आप अगर वो सुन लेते हो तो you just feel that very low.
True.
You feel very low as a human being. 12 घंटे से आप लगे हो, काम कर रहे हो, सर्विस कर रहे हो हर टेबल पे.
True.
एक गेस्ट मे बी फॉर रीजंस ही डिडंट लाइक योर फूड और सर्विस, अगर आपको इफ ही से समथिंग विच इज नॉट वेरी सूदिंग और आपको कुछ ही यूजेस सम हार्श वर्ड्स, आप सोचो आप कैसा फील कर रहे हो. तो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू मोटिवेट देम बैक. And training is also required. Training, why I said training? The fact to make them understand that
To handle these kind
to
of
handle
situations.
these kind of situations.
Yeah. To just
And of course they need to also, at that time, they also have to be very strong.
yeah. They shouldn't lose their
They shouldn't lose basic.
yeah.
They shouldn't, ultimately, because at times, it's also, as a human nature, you may feel that, yeah, I think I should give up, it's not the industry meant for me. It's the reality.
True.
So fact is that in this restaurant industry, it's a service industry. The guest comes with a lot of expectations.
True. True. And this may sound a little silly, but when I thought of having this podcast with you, this has been a thought for me always whenever I think about food. So when you go to a restaurant, you basically tend to order something. For example, we order paneer manchuria. So it takes around 15 to 20 minutes for the order to come. Similarly, there are going to be different paneer items for you. And as I'm a non-vegetarian, there are going to be an ample amount of non-veg items. So what is it like? Because if there are around 20-25 items in non-veg, and do the chef prepare all the 25 items, or is it going to be a pre-mix or something like that, or do they cook it in that given stipulated time? What is the procedure like? It's a very silly question, but just wanted to understand.
No, see, so with the time, of course, there are lot of, changes happening. As I said that now today, let's say, lot of, gravies are available, right? So, which are generally, which comes and which you can use actually. It comes and so there are a lot of companies which are selling those products which are premixes and gravies, which helps in, of course. But yes, when specifically asking your question that what is cooked and what is, of course, there are like central kitchens also, which generally the chain of restaurants carries, because they make certain things out there. So if, let's say, because to also have the consistency, it's also about the consistency.
True. Standardization.
Yeah. So there are certain process which they will do, maybe in the central kitchen, and there are certain process which are carried at the place where you are eating. So that is how it is done. And if in case there are certain preparation which are done in the initially in the morning time before the operation starts. So let's say there are the gravies, generally when you're cooking also it's being cooked, and then if suppose you have to add paneer, and you can add at that time, basically you can add this. So similarly there are like certain things, like you have to make dough, you'll make initially. So it's like the regular cooking. So certain processes are done before the operation starts.
Okay. I just hope you didn't find the question too silly.
No, it's not at all. And I think this is a kind of curiosity maybe every individual will be having today, because
True, exactly.
So one more thing is that food is, of course, everyone is looking about the safety point of view, right?
I wanted to ask you about that only, because recently the government organization FSSAI has been in news almost regularly, saying that it has gone to this place, that place, found out expired items here, unpacked like open items, etc. How challenging is it for a person like you in the food and beverages industry? Because it definitely plays a very like a psychological effect as well, because that would affect the business of that particular restaurant for the next few months. Because if something gets out, just for a simple thing that loose packaging is found, and it gets promoted very differently, because as you said, the role of promotion is immense. It can get promoted in a different narrative itself, and it will definitely impact the business of the restaurant. So how are you as a person in the F&B industry feeling right now? Like, what is it like?
See, I think this is all good for the industry in a way that, of course, it is giving rather, to for, I think, good restaurant generally they carry they always carry the practice of maintaining good hygiene and cleanliness in their restaurants. And it's about ultimately it's about the food safety finally, and I think it's somewhere making everyone understand that it's very important to have the regular SOPs and checks for the kitchens and for the operations. So because it's about maintaining the highest level of cleanliness and hygiene in your restaurant. So because you as you were mentioning that there are a lot of perishables being used today. Now for perishables, it's of course it comes on daily basis. It is being received on daily basis. So it's very important when you are receiving the perishables to check the dates of manufacturing. The labels out there should be there everywhere. So so that you are aware of shelf life. And I think this is somewhere ultimately, in a way, is going to help the industry to become better, because finally, it also, let's say, if the food is fresh, right? Ultimately, it is also going to taste good.
Yeah.
Right. So, and if the good hygiene and cleanliness practices are there, ultimately, and you can see nowadays, that's the reason that even today you find in some of the restaurants they are also showcasing their kitchens.
True.
They are making special videos, that how the things are being handled in our kitchens.
True.
So just to give that confidence to the customer that our kitchens are maintained with the highest standard of cleanliness and hygiene practices.
True. Because I basically felt whenever I go to a restaurant with my family, my dad always tells, okay, you should be very, very aware of what place you're eating at, because ambience is not only the thing that you should look at. You should also look at the way the kitchen is handled, because ambience you can make it however fancy and stuff like that, but if the kitchen is not clean, ultimately it's going to be a very bad factor for the health of the customer. So I feel like whatever role or whatever things that FSSAI is doing, it would benefit both the business as well as the customers as well.
Yes.
It would help the businesses to be more aware about what things we are using and how important packaging and safeguarding their items should be like. And for the customers, I think it'll give them much more better security about what they're eating. And also a little more, there's a misconception which has been, not even misconception, but it's just going on saying that stop eating in restaurants, make your own food. But as you said in the start, food and beverage are the two things which we associate with celebrations. If we don't have that celebration, I think it's meaningless in life.
No, again, of course, see, ultimately one thing is there that, it's not, to be very honest, whenever you are looking to go out today, like let's say you generally must have also experienced in life, whenever you are out with your friends or family or for some business meeting, you ultimately end up sitting in some food joint.
Yes.
Right? Either it can be a cafe or a restaurant, somewhere you will end up.
Yes.
Right? So it's practically not possible that you don't go out for eating. It is out of question.
True.
Right? Because otherwise the life will become very dull.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So there is no entertainment left.
Yeah.
So food, when you go out for eating in a restaurant, it's just not about the food. Yes, food needs to be good. It needs to be great. But apart from that, you are creating memories out there. You are experiencing, some good ambience out there. You are, spending some good valuable time with your close family, friends, and so that's about having it's a special experience. It's just not that you are going to because you are feeling hungry. No, it's about that. It's much above that. It's about, that special moment which you want at a particular place. So that's why, the restaurant ambience today plays a very important role.
True.
So right now, let's say being, associated with this, special restaurant called Masterpiece. I mean, one of the largest buffet, which is global buffet, which has started in Hyderabad. Of course, the credit goes to Sri Lakshmi ji, the founder, and the entire team, rather. I mean, the team of chefs and the operation team, which really worked hard to make it that success. That kind of a success that today's talk of the town, not just in Hyderabad, is getting, all maybe all over the place people are talking about it. It's about the ambience also. If you see, if you come to Masterpiece, there is a large spread of buffet out there. You have so many different salads, so many different starters, special desserts, right? But again, the ambience plays a very important role. So when you are talking about the people will go out, it's of course they will go out. There is no second thought that they will not go out, right?
Yes.
So there is no second thought that they will not go out. The only thing is that you can, of course, today with maybe I think with this kind of a drive which is happening, I think restaurants are getting more aware. They are having more checks in place. And as I said that earlier also, the good restaurants are always they are aware of this fact and they carry good practices. But it's a one step more towards getting some more checks in place, some more SOPs in place to ensure that finally everything is done with the highest standard.
True.
That is the only thing. And also it comes to the other part, the packed food today. Let's say the Hyderabad is a city known for cookies. Let's say there are so many good cookies brands out there, right? And so many new brands are also mushrooming in the city. Recently, I witnessed a brand. Of course, called Sindh Bakery. I don't know.
Okay.
I think you must have heard.
Yeah.
They are doing some very good cookies out there. So I was just looking at their range. They have a large range of cookies out there. And today, if you see, it's about when it comes to the competition, it's about the quality. If you have to be known among the top players in the city, you have to be consistent in the quality also.
True.
Because there is a competition around there.
True.
You cannot, if you are not consistent, right? If you are not really, basically having all the quality checks in place, it's going to be a tough time. So you have to be in the competition. Of course, you have to really be good at whatever you are doing. You do only cookies, you do it really well.
Understood.
So there are so many, of course, the brands of bakeries out there which has spread like anything. You have so many good bakeries in the city. And but whenever a brand grows, of course, they first also work on their SOPs. That's very important, because the consistency is going to play a very important role, because people are always going to compare that, earlier their food was like this, how it is now. If they are selling this, the same brand exists at one place in the city, if they open in the other place, there is always going to be a comparison.
True.
So those brands who are not able to do it, of course, there is going to be, they face this challenge. We generally also hear in the conversation that when I used to go to that particular place of theirs, the food was very different.
Yeah.
The dosa was very different. Or, this was ice cream was very different. But now today it is different.
Yeah.
Right? So that is about the consistency part.
True.
So when I was telling you the example, let's say a new brand coming up today, it has to have the challenge. For a brand today which is starting now in a category which is already basically where there are a lot of good players out there, they have to really do some exceptionally good work. So I was taking this example of this Sindh Bakery because, of course, this is comparatively a new brand compared to the many other older players out there which are doing a very good work in the city. So for them, if they have to really establish for a long term, they have to really work on their product line and consistency.
True.
And packaging, marketing, everything is going to take place. True. So no sector can be ultimately, you cannot basically look over any.
I think every sector is codependent.
Yeah. So similarly, like let's say today, because earlier times there were a selected restaurant people used to go again and again. I mean, they used to have a favorite restaurant of theirs.
True.
Right? If you call, let's say, I mean, a generation older, maybe like your father's generation, they used to have a particular restaurant. They are going there only.
As I mentioned you, we even me, I have a particular favorite restaurant named Papa Ji Ka Dhaba that we still go.
अभी भी आप जाते हो, right? तो आज की डेट में लेकिन अभी क्या हो रहा है देखो सब देयर आर सर्टेन कॉन्सेप्ट वेयर दिस इज स्टिल वर्किंग बट देयर आर सर्टेन कॉन्सेप्ट आपको दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज टॉकिंग द मॉडल सी लेट्स से टुडे व्हेन यू आर स्टार्टिंग अ पब और अ ब्रूरी राइट द क्राउड आउट देयर आर टुडेज जनरेशन राइट द जेन ज़ी right so these models when you are starting also have to understand that they shift and they shift very fast.
True.
So
the interest shift.
Yeah, so they want to experience a new place every time. They want to come today to your brewery, next time they want to go to the other brewery,
Yeah.
for a party.
True.
So it's very important to have your cost in check. If you don't see on your cost part, you feel that the crowd is coming. I'm getting a party crowd. I'm booking a sale of 20 lakhs on weekends. Fine, it's good time for you, but always remember that it's there is a competition coming up. There is another brewery which is starting. There is another pub which is starting.
Like if they see that there's a potential there, definitely new players with better capital can come and just like get into the market, which can like take in all the customers from you. Like definitely that's the challenging part where as you said, you have to keep the costs in check.
So most of the failure in this industry, like generally most of the calls which today maybe let's say people like me also get is from the restaurants which they started well, or maybe but with the time of course they have come to a place where they become stagnant in sales maybe, and maybe at now they don't know because the costs are still very high, and then it becomes very challenging to of course revise it. And so that's what you just can't lose your sight from any of the basically operational department. Ultimately every department plays a crucial role, and you have to always keep in mind, and every month on month you should of course try to have a review of your restaurant, irrespective of the fact that you may be having a good top line or bottom line. A lot of new breweries are coming up. I mean, you can see a lot of pubs are coming, a lot of new restaurants are coming up, all themed restaurant. I mean, you have South Indian good restaurants opening, and North Indian good restaurant opening, bakeries opening, tea shops opening, parlors opening, everything is opening. So F&B is of course is very much happening industry. It's like finding your maybe right zone, I would say.
It's a welcoming
industry. It's about what suits you the best.
True.
And again, see today, as I said, that because the model itself is shifting. Inside the model also there is there is no definition. I'll give you a practical example. Today cafe, what is the definition of a cafe? There are cafes like Starbucks which serves good coffee and good savories. There are cafes which also are serving food, which is Chinese food and continental food. True. There are cafes which serves a lot of good desserts also. So there is no definition. True. Similarly, bakery today, let's say, there are bakeries which are just high on cakes.
Yeah.
Right? There are bakeries which are also serving a lot of food out there. It's important to to have in mind that I cannot do everything. Maybe the others are doing that and they are really doing it good. Maybe they are making a lot of money in that concept or that theme or that kind of a restaurant model. Maybe that is not for me.
Yeah.
Because that's not what I have prepared myself, or that's what I really don't know. I have no homework for that. Just because the others are doing it and doing it very well, I mean doing it quite well, it doesn't mean that you can jump into it.
True. understanding your own strengths and limitations, I think would make for a good entrepreneur in the food business.
Yes. So I was initially in the start of my career, I was very fortunate to work with a legend. Mr. Lalit Nirula and Mr. Deepak Nirula. Nirula's was a very iconic chain of fast food and ice cream parlors in Delhi, and it's like I think even before the MNCs came in India, these. Maybe Domino's and Pizza Huts and all. Nirula's used to make good pizzas out there. They had the best of the ovens they used to buy, and similarly they were the first one to define the ice cream parlor concept. Actually, they had this 21 flavors of ice cream. What I think I picked up working there was that it was whatever they did. I think they had the right systems in place for that, and consistency was wherever the restaurants were, they had the same taste. So similarly, if you see today any good restaurant today, you can go to maybe Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Domino, and everywhere you will have the right the similar taste available. True. You don't have to worry about that taste.
Standardization.
Standardization. You go to Starbucks, you'll have the similar taste. So it is about basically understanding that to scale up, it is you first have to define the SOPs to ensure that you are able to carry the same consistency everywhere. Because the second part, one of the other thing which is generally being once you get the initial success, you want to scale it, and you want, so there is of course a lot of people come and ask, sir, whether the franchisee model is good for to start with, or to start your own restaurant. Right, this is some question which is generally asked regularly. So again, it also depends what kind of a time you can give to your business, and how much readiness you have for your business. And don't feel that franchisee for a person who want to invest and can give a limited time, I think can be a good option. But again, even if you take a franchisee, again there also you need a guidance, because see, ultimately you should understand how your kitchens are operating, how your food is getting prepared, how the operation team is serving it, how they're explaining to the guest, how you are marketing it. So all things depends. You have so many good master franchisee who also got a good success, you will see, and the franchise is also getting a good success. And if you are making your own brand, again you will have to make much more effort, because it's going to take time for people to at the end of the day to maybe accept you as a brand today, because it's finally the consistency and the USP today is very much important to build a brand. It is not that easy. Initially, it was a different time. Today, when every 100 meter you have a new restaurant, if you have to really make a brand, then of course you have to really do something special.
True.
Right, and once you have done it, then of course you can scale it. You can go to different cities and different places. You can either open your more restaurant on your own, or you can maybe invite franchise also. Both options are available. Right. So after the initial success, of course you will have more opportunities to scale it up. True. But the real journey, the first year or two, where you are ultimately going out in the market and trying to have your place, is going to be a challenge.
Got it.
So I think the best part is that today is the customer is the king. That line which we hear.
Yeah.
It is for sure is for people who would like to experience F&B industry, because you have so many choices available. Every second month you see new good restaurants opening, right? And so many, for youngsters, of course, pubs are opening, breweries are opening. So recently, I think, there is a brewery called Vault, which is opening in Jubilee Hills. And similarly, I think there are a couple of others coming, and good restaurants are coming. So it's a great time for food lovers, for I'm in the city of Hyderabad, that they will definitely be able to experience more F&B in the coming time, and I think that's something good. As I said, that experience which was initially available for just a selected few, right? To have 200 dishes or 250 dishes was only restricted to either Nawabs or Maharajas. Today, a buffet like Masterpiece is able to give that experience to I think so many of people around there who comes from different walks of life. So that's the beauty of F&B today, that there are so many good restaurants who creates a world class ambience, and where you can create you can have the best food, as well as you can also have a great time with your family and friend. So that's the I think the way F&B industry contributes in the life of a common man today, because it takes away all the tensions and worries from your life when you go to such places, and it gives you a great experience for some time, where you just forget everything, and so that's, I think, very, very important in today's life, which is full of worries and tensions and tasks. So it's very important that places like such should be available, and so I'm very fortunate rather to be part of this industry, because we become part of many people's celebrations.
True.
And this Hyderabad city again is a very special city. I think this is the only city one of where you people can do anything for food.
Yeah.
Right, there it's a city of foodies, actually, rather, I would say. You just come across people who rather would tell you that their food stories, and because we get the chance to interact with a lot of customers, a lot of guests, right? So you will hear those stories that, sir, today was a day where nothing went really well for me, and then I just thought that why not I go to my favorite joint and pick up my special Sunday, or why not I dine into my special in my special restaurant. So that is what define this city. So it's a real वो कहते हैं ना कि food से पहले, राइट, और फूड से ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं. वो अगर आपको स्पिरिट देखनी है तो हैदराबाद इज़ वन ऑफ द बेस्ट सिटीज़. तो बिरयानी तो के लिए तो फेमस है ही है, बट आई थिंक फूडीज़ यहाँ पे क्या है, और वो आपको इंकरेज करते हैं. ये जो हैदराबाद की स्पिरिट है, यही आपको इंकरेज करती है F&B जो इतना नया हो रहा है, इतना सारा हो रहा है, क्योंकि जो लोग हैं वो आपको इंकरेज करते हैं. As I said that about this special buffet about Masterpiece also, of course, a concept by Shri Lakshmi ji. It's being a wonder. It got a wonderful opening. You had from the time it has started. You are witnessing a very good crowd coming. And of course the spread is out there that it gives an opportunity. आपको अगर आज आपको 200 प्लस डिशेस एक जगह पे खानी है, और जो पहले सिर्फ महाराजा को या जो नवाब्स को अवेलेबल होती थी, आज आई थिंक आप और हम भी जाके वो विटनेस कर सकते हैं. तो ये ऐसे स्पेशल बफेज हैं या ऐसी जो स्पेशल प्लेसेस हैं, ये आपको वो अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रहे हैं.
Agreed.
आप कैफ़ेज़ में देखिए, आप कैफ़ेज़ टुडे हैव बिकम काइंड ऑफ एन ऑफिस फॉर पीपल. आप कैफ़ेज़ में बिजनेस मीटिंग्स कर सकते हैं. You can go and maybe you can do half of your work like in cafes. I have seen students studying in cafes, people like creative people like you, basically who have to think a lot for ideas and contents for the branding and merchandising. तो ऑफ कोर्स उनके लिए भी एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि उनको एक जो एक दे नीड अ प्लेस विच इज़ कूल एंड काम एंड वेयर दे कैन जस्ट अल्टीमेटली रिलैक्स एंड द गुड थॉट्स विल कम. तो आपके पास कितने बढ़िया कैफ़ेज़ हैं आज की डेट में. तो कंट्रीब्यूशन तो F&B का बहुत ज़्यादा है लाइफ में यार. वो तो आपकी और लाइफ से जा ही नहीं सकता है. मतलब आप सोचिए कि लाइफ ही बहुत डल हो जाएगी. मैंने जैसे आपको पहले बोला, अगर आपके जीवन से फूड और बेवरेज नहीं है, अगर कुछ खाने को नहीं है, कुछ पीने को नहीं है, कोई स्पेशल एनर्जी है जिससे मैं और आप जी रहे हैं, तो लाइफ का क्या मीनिंग रहेगा बताओ आप. क्या एंटरटेनमेंट रहेगा. तो हम तो कोई सेरेमनी नहीं होगी, कोई शादी नहीं होगी, कुछ फंक्शन नहीं हो, कुछ भी नहीं होगा ना. अल्टीमेटली आप क्यों जाओगे कहीं पे.
People go to marriages to have good food.
ऑफ कोर्स. मतलब आप किस लिए जाते हो सेरेमनी में, सेलिब्रेशन में, बर्थडे में जाते हो. ऑफ कोर्स इवन इफ योर क्लोजेस्ट फ्रेंड यू आर गोइंग टू हिज बर्थडे, you are looking forward to have that food also out there, that piece of cake out there, right?
True.
अब मैं एक बार बात कर रहा था कि पहले केक्स जो होते थे, मे बी 15 ईयर बैक, केक्स वर ओनली फॉर बर्थडेज. बट व्हेन आई वाज वर्किंग फॉर केक नेशन फॉर ओरीज, I was looking at the fact that today cake is for every celebration here.
True.
Today you break up, you order a cake. You get a new friend, you order a cake. Yeah. Right? Your boss get transferred, you order a cake. Right? So I mean to say, every small celebration you order a cake.
Yeah.
तो इसलिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ भी बहुत आ रही है. आप देखो आजकल होम बेकर्स, स्पेशली व्हेन today so many home bakers are really earning so well, because they are able to finally bake good cakes, and they are able to, and there are so many cake brands which has mushroomed. तो क्योंकि आज सेलिब्रेशंस सेरेमनीज के लिए पीपल आर स्पेंडिंग, तो फूड हैबिट्स हैव ऑल्सो चेंज. And for, I think, the next few coming generation is going to be great time. I can only say, you guys are going to have a rocking time for sure.
I really hope so, sir.
Right?
Yes.
And with lot of opportunities in this industry, I would say this is one of the best industry, I think, rather to venture into also. But yes, you should do your homework properly. Because your one generation of success will go to the next generation, and this is only possible in this industry.
Yes. True. Agreed.
The more time span, the more it becomes valuable. अब आप जब आप देखते हो ना, since 1917, 1980, it adds value out there.
Yeah.
तो फूड में सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि आप अगर स्टार्ट करोगे, आपको सक्सेस मिलेगी, अच्छा है. आपको जितने मिलेगी उतना अच्छा है, लेकिन अगर आप उसको कैरी कर पाओगे और आप नेक्स्ट जनरेशन को हैंड ओवर कर पाओगे, तो वो आपकी सक्सेस को और ज़्यादा वैल्यूबल बना देगा. आप देखिए जितने भी ऐसे चेन्स हैं, आप हैदराबाद के एग्जांपल देख लीजिए, जहाँ पे ऐसा हुआ है कि जनरेशन ऑन जनरेशन जहाँ पे होता है, वहाँ पे ऑफ कोर्स आपको सक्सेस ज़्यादा मिलती है.
People connect to nostalgia. Yeah.
मैं बहुत सारे ऐसे ब्रांड्स हैं जो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में आके और ज़्यादा उनको सक्सेस मिली पहले से, जहाँ पे स्टार्टिंग एक जनरेशन नहीं की, दूसरे जनरेशन आई तो उनको ज़्यादा सक्सेस मिली. तो सबसे बड़ी बात फूड में ये है, आपको अगर आप अच्छा स्टार्ट करोगे और कंसिस्टेंटली काम करते रहोगे, तो ये आपको जितना ज़्यादा आगे बढ़ेगा, उतना काम आपका भी बढ़ेगा आगे. और अभी तो बहुत सारे यार मॉडल्स अवेलेबल है. आप क्लाउड पे भी कर सकते हो. आप अगर छोटी कैपिटल चला रहे हो, तो जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, एक छोटा मॉडल भी स्टार्ट कर सकते हो. राइट? और ऑनलाइन और ऑफलाइन जो बात होती है, जनरली वी से दैट ऑनलाइन इज़ गुड और ऑफलाइन इज़ गुड सर, एंड वेदर ऑनलाइन इज़ किलिंग द डाइन इन बिजनेस. I would say these both things are having different markets, and both are going to grow. Because dine-in is an experience where you go out to eat for eating, to have some special time also. But online is giving you the convenience to order good food at sitting at your home.
True.
तो आई थिंक एक और दोनों जगह में अपॉर्चुनिटी है. रादर स्विगी और जोमेटो ने जो आके रेवोल्यूशन किया है, ऑफ कोर्स ये आगे आई थिंक बहुत मैनी फोल्ड इज़ गोइंग टू इंक्रीज. बिकॉज इससे भी क्या है, बहुत सारे लोग आज, बहुत सारे ऐसे ब्रांड्स हैं जिनको एक अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट हुई है आगे जाके. और मे बी आई थिंक फॉर अ गुड रेस्टोरेंट इट इज़ इफ़ पॉसिबल आपको दोनों करना चाहिए, आपको ऑनलाइन भी करना चाहिए, ऑफलाइन भी करना चाहिए, बिकॉज अगेन इट इज़ एडिंग टू योर रेवेन्यू. अभी क्या है ना कि आप हफ्ते में 5 बार घर में फूड ऑर्डर कर सकते हो, लेकिन शायद आप बाहर 1 या 2 बार जा सकते हो. तो अगर आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रही है कि आप अपने फेवरेट रेस्टोरेंट से ऑर्डर भी कर सकते हो, सिटिंग एट होम, ऑफ कोर्स यू वुड लाइक टू टेक दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी ना. और फिर कन्वीनियंट फूड भी इसके अंदर रोल पे करता है. आपको पिज़्ज़ा खाना है या बिरयानी खानी है, ऐसा कुछ खाना है जिसके लिए मे बी यू डोंट वांट टू वॉक आई मीन मे बी गो आउट टू अ रेस्टोरेंट, आप ऑर्डर कर सकते हो आज यार. केक्स है सपोज, regular cake, artistic cake, designer cakes are different. Today it's also catching up, but a regular cake if you want to order, you can just see the menu and order from there, no?
Yeah.
See, just on Mother Day, I was checking the other day, I think maybe on Zomato, I think close to, I think 40,000 plus cakes per order, yeah.
Oh. Huge.
Huge in the city of Hyderabad. अब न्यू ईयर है तो you get so much of online orders also, because people are partying at their home also, they want to order from online. So of course because places are all, many of the places are also running full, and there is everyone wants to celebrate. तो हर जगह पे तो आप कई बार आपको जगह नहीं मिलती, एंड देन यू वांट टू सम टाइम हैव दैट एटमॉस्फियर बैक एट होम. तो फूड तो वहाँ पे भी अच्छा चाहिए, और बाहर का मतलब अगर आपको अच्छा खाना मिल रहा है तो ऑफ कोर्स ऑनलाइन ऑल्सो प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. तो ये क्वेश्चन दैट विच इज़ द राइट मॉडल, आई थिंक बोथ हैज़ देयर ओन प्लेस. डाइनिंग ऑफ कोर्स इज गोइंग टू बी देयर एंड इट विल ऑल्सो इंक्रीज, एंड ऑनलाइन इज गोइंग टू ऑल्सो इंक्रीज फॉर मी.
Think with this, I think I as well as my viewers has got this crazy insight into that food and beverages industry, as well as the importance of what needs to go into when you're starting a business. And thanks a lot, sir. It was amazing, because when we thought to have a podcast, you said let's try to do a line for 1 hour, but I think we hit 1 hour 30 minutes, and it was amazing time talking to you. And I think even for the viewers, if anyone who's interested in the F&B industry, I think sir is more than happy to guide them, because he's been a very good help for me, because of my interests in branding and marketing. He really helped me out what are the key areas that I can concentrate in branding, and I think for you as well, he's a very good mentor. So thank you, sir. Thank you for
Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
I really hope you had a great
yes,
time
I
talking.
really had a good I mean of course a great time, and it's going to be an experience which I'm going to remember for sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir. Also, guys, do like, share, comment, and subscribe to Ladder Guru.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.